I see the time is now 1 o'clock, and the Standing Committee for dealing with the budget is now in sitting, and we are here to receive a presentation of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2025 from the NCOP, and the provincial delegate there being Honourable Paul Swart. So good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to this meeting. I think just for purposes of good order, I am just briefly going to, let's just see if I've turned my camera on for a short while. We have been experiencing some signal issues during the course of the morning, and I know certain members on some of the committees have struggled a little bit, but I think let us just do a round of introductions so that for the record, I'm Leon van Wyk, the Chair of the Budget Committee, and with me is Mr. Dustin Davids, who is the Procedural Officer. So I think I'll just give everyone an opportunity then to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Afternoon, Dave Bryant, member of the committee.
Afternoon, Mbombo.
Good afternoon, Benedicte van Minnen.
Good afternoon, Member Nomin Kontlo.
Good afternoon, I'm Peter Johnson. I'm an alternate member of this committee, and Chair, just to inform you, I will leave the meeting just before 2 o'clock to chair the Education Standing Committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Noko Masipa. I am an alternate on this committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Member Boyson. I'm an alternate on the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, I'm not hearing any further members. Well, welcome to everyone. And I would now like to welcome Honourable Swart, so that he can perhaps just introduce himself, show us his face on the camera, and then he will be providing us with the presentation from the NCOP. So welcome there to you, Honourable Swart. You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. Thank you, members, and hearty welcome. My name is Paul Swart, the provincial delegate from the NCOP, and it's an honour for me to present to you the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2025. And Chairperson, I'm going to switch off my camera because I'm not sure, of all this stability of the data here. I'm just going to switch it, but hearty welcome. Thank you. There we are. I can, Dustin, we can just move to the first slide. Are you in control? There we are. Honourable Chairperson and members, let us start with the provincial equitable share for the Western Cape. The PS allocation for 25-26 remains exactly the same at 65.4 billion. And as you can see, National Treasury has made the 4.6 billion provincial equitable share adjustment nationally, but that correction is targeted only at the 4 provinces that lost funding due to updated demographic and enrollment data. And namely, that is the 4 provinces, and that is the Free State, Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and Northwest. Because the Western Cape did not experience a negative data shift, our share remains stable. This stability is important. It provides predictable funding for our core responsibilities. Honourable members, particularly education, health services, and the provincial road network. So in short, no reduction, no increase, but importantly, no disruption to our provincial baseline. Next slide. On this one is the conditional grant increase on framework notes. Nationally, the health facility revitalization grant increases by 93.8 million, and the Western Cape receives more than half of that, Honourable Chairperson and members. And our cut is 53.8 million. This funding is directed to two key health infrastructure projects in our province. 22 million for the Belhar Regional Hospital and 31 million for planning work at Klipfontein Regional Hospital. Our members, these are significant because they support the expansion of tertiary level health capacity in high pressure communities in the Western Cape. And in addition, the National Tertiary Service Grant receives a 40 million correction at national level. And this adjustment fixes an earlier misallocation that wrongly benefited the Eastern Cape and the Northwest province. The correction now supports our tertiary services platform more accurately. It is also worth mentioning, Honourable Chairperson, that while the Western Cape does not receive extra funding from the Educational Infrastructure Grant or the Provincial Roads Maintenance Grant, their framework has been tightened. They now ring-fence disaster recovery funding, which creates more certainty for our planning processes in the province, especially after events such as storm damages. Finally, Honourable Members, Chairperson, the framework also formally ring-fenced the BFI allocations for the new Belhar and Klipfontein hospitals, preventing those funds from being repurposed elsewhere. Next slide. On the conditional grant reductions, the Human Settlement Development Grant declines by just 863,000, and the Informal Settlement Upgrading Partnership Grant by 197,000. These are not, Honourable Chairperson, performance-related reductions. They are purely national corrections made to align with the 25 DORA adjustments. And on the national side, Treasury reduces the school infrastructure backlog grant by 342 million, but this is an indirect grant and the Western Cape already had a zero baseline. So there is no direct impact on our provinces nationally. National will redirect that funding to the workbooks, as you can see, and the infrastructure assessment, 300 million for the workbooks project and 43 million for the infrastructure assessment. And the Western Cape faces no direct cuts, Honourable Chair. And the NHI indirect grant increases nationally by 32.6 million, but this is allocated solely to Limpopo and the Free State. Again, no direct impact on our provincial allocations. Next slide. Where's slide 5? Okay, that is what the amendments mean for the Western Cape. Our biggest source of funding, the provincial equitable share, remains stable, Honourable Chairperson, which protects our essential services during a very tight fiscal year. We received 53.8 million for health infrastructure through the HFRG, and then 40 million correction through the National Tertiary Services Grant. These are meaningful boosts to our health system, particularly as we expand tertiary capacity in high demand regions. The minor reductions in human settlements and the informal settlements are simply technical adjustments and do not reflect performance concerns. Perhaps also importantly, the amendments to the grant frameworks helps ensure that disaster recovery funding is ring-fenced and that BFI commitments for the new hospitals cannot be diluted. So overall, Honourable Chairperson, this amendment bill leaves the Western Cape with a net positive outcome, especially in health infrastructure, one of our most critical services delivery areas. And that is just in closing from my side, Honourable Chairperson, the 25 Division of Revenue Amendment Bill places the Western Cape on stable fiscal footing at a time when many other provinces are grappling with significant baseline pressures and corrective reallocations. While our provincial equitable share remains unchanged, this stability allows our core sectors like the education, the health, the human settlements, and transport to continue functioning without disruption. Importantly, the reductions contained in the bill are minimal, administrative in nature, and do not reflect the performance concerns. And the introduction of ring-fenced frameworks, especially for disaster recovery funding and BFI allocations, gives this province greater certainty, stability, and accountability for long-term infrastructure planning. Chairperson, despite the constrained national fiscal environment, the Western Cape emerges from this amendment cycle with a net positive outcome, a clear sense of direction, and the ability to continue delivering services at the standards our communities expect from our leaders in this province. Thank you for this opportunity to present this briefing, Honourable Chairperson. I hand over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Swart, for that briefing. Yeah, certainly appreciated. I'm just looking to see if there are any comments or questions on clarity or that members may require.
I also think, Honourable Chairperson, I think this offering, I think National Treasury is also with you for a deeper, more informational session. So I think there, with any uncertainty and question from the members from the Western Cape, also to engage with the National Treasury colleagues.
Yes, certainly. We will. I think just for just informing members once again, we will be receiving the National Treasury presentation, which I've had a look at. Is also a fairly detailed presentation at 4 o'clock this afternoon, because we will then adjourn once this is completed for members to attend further standing committee meetings, and then at 4 o'clock we reassemble for National Treasury. I see Member Nkondlo's hand and then Member Masipa.
Chair, with the last clarity, I wanted to understand this presentation versus the presentation of National Treasury on the adjustments, because obviously the practice would have been the member of the NCOP would come and do a presentation with the National Treasury, so that when there are questions on the details of the allocations, such could be done. So I was a bit not sure, even when I saw that these presentations are being done differently, because I'm not sure now whether National Treasury is presenting something different to what the member of the NCOP, the Honorable, has presented. Also, I'm not sure whether this is a presentation of the committee of the NCOP to ourselves. I was just struggling to understand, Chair. Perhaps you could clarify, especially because now the committee is receiving a presentation from the member, and then there is still going to be a presentation from the national treasury in engaging this content. I don't want to assume whether is what national treasury is going to be the same thing that they're going to be presenting from what the member has presented, or it's something different. Perhaps one can be before I can even engage on the content.
Yes, look, I think one of the difficulties that we did have, because we would have liked to have seen these presentations done in one sitting, but unfortunately, due to the scheduling of the standing committees and the availability of National Treasury and NCOP to get them all in one meeting today was a little bit difficult, and National Treasury is only available at 4 this afternoon. So they have agreed to between 4 and 6 o'clock to do their presentation, and then obviously we can direct questions to them so that we can cover the full aspect of any questions that you might have at this level. So I hope that clarifies that. I hope I've got everything correct there in terms of the engagements that we had. And I'm just looking at Mr. Davids as procedural officer in arranging these meetings and facilitating the time slots that we have. I don't know, Mr. Davids, if there's anything that you need to clarify there.
Yes, Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity. Honourable members, Chair, through you. Yes, unfortunately, Chairperson, this meeting had to be split, for a lack of a better word, into two, Chairperson, which is this 1 o'clock meeting and then the 4 o'clock meeting due to the parliamentary programming pressures that was already in place, Chair. And the fact that also that that the referral from the NCOP was for today to all of the provinces. So we really didn't have a lot of time, Chairperson, or on the parliamentary program to arrange this meeting. So the only solution was that we split this meeting in two, Chair. But Chair, I do see members of National Treasury, or I did see them. I don't see them now in the meeting, but they were in the meeting, Chairperson, a few minutes ago. All three members of all three officials of National Treasury, they were in the meeting now, Chairperson, but I don't see them now, Chairperson. But yeah, they will be in the meeting at 4 o'clock to give a more detailed presentation, Chairperson, on this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Obviously, if there are members of the National Treasury team on board, you know, they're welcome just to raise their hands as well. Then we'll know they are here and they can then try and field some of these questions. Over to Member Masipa and then Member Stoffel.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again, and thank you, Honorable Swartz, for the presentation. I think, Chair, with that said, I think it's going to be unfair, because I think the questions will be best answered by National Treasury. So I would reserve my question to the engagement with National Treasury. Maybe just to understand, is National Treasury going to touch in particular on these matters that have been presented here? If Dustin can just help a bit there. Thank you.
Chairperson, through you, yes, National Treasury will be touching on the matters that has been raised by the Honourable Swart in his presentation, yes.
Okay.
Chairperson,
Just yes, Honourable Swart.
no, I just want to say what was David had just said, and you also, I believe that all the provinces do it on a different way. Last year, when I also came to the province, there was also there's only one session. So that is, I don't know what the reasons for that the meeting was not split, but it's all about availability of time. But the members can be assured that all the answers need to be asked. The National Treasury will definitely and will often give you in-depth presentation, and all the answers will be asked, and you'll get the answers. But this is also presentation that I received from the office there, from the staff there. So the information here, but National Treasury will give you everything this afternoon with more meat. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Member Swart. Then Honourable Stoffel.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good afternoon to everybody. Chair, if that is the case, everything depends on National Treasury, then I find this meeting really not in a fair manner, because what Member Nkondlo had raised then makes sense. Because what is the use? The presentation is there, but the actual answer is lying with the National Treasury. What are we going to engage now on the presentation if the bulk of the answering is with National Treasury? So it doesn't make sense. So and I wish, Chair, that the departments must answer for themselves, not you answer, Chair. Let the departments answer for themselves. If the NCOP have to answer, allow them to answer, not you, Chair. Please, Chair.
Yes, certainly. I think that's what the is going to be taking place. National Treasury will then deal with any of the questions that have been raised, and I think all that what the effort has been here is knowing that we are heading from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock this afternoon on a Friday afternoon. That is what has now been done, is to try and make best use of the time available and the time slots that have been available to us to at least have this presentation. And you have that now as well, and certainly you can direct any of those questions to National Treasury when we will meet again at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Member Nkondlo?
No, Chair, I think one appreciates the pressure of time, which is a programming duty or responsibility. And we had raised this thing, Chair, and we are going to have to come back as this WCPP, because we've been raising the same notion of bringing issues, and in the planning and timing of things, there is pressure. And it's a very interesting phenomenon, because it is the very members, here that would raise the very same issue to National Treasury on or bills that comes here, short notice. You put things at the same time, then you make things become difficult in terms of just time management. So I'm just saying, Chair, we're going to have to deal with that bigger problem. I appreciate that with now you had to split for National Treasury and the NCOP delegate. But the point is, Chair, in terms of the content, if we're to engage now the presentation of the member of the NCOP, what then becomes the standing of this presentation? Because you do not want us tomorrow, when we engage and we're interpreting from what the member had said, we are told by National Treasury that no, that is not necessarily the position of National Treasury. So that is why I think that practice would assist to say the member would present, which I'm assuming is the position of the Committee of Finance in the NCOP in their deliberations, and National Treasury would tell us what is the National Treasury's budget adjustment, because at this point, I would believe and I would want to submit that we do not engage the presentation, and therefore we engage at that time at 4 o'clock when the National Treasury is here. We then bring both these presentations, in that discussion, if there would be any questions, so that we are able to get the necessary answers on some of the things that the member would have raised on decisions made by National Treasury on this particular adjustment. So I would want to make that suggestion that I don't think there's going to be a point of asking questions if we're still going to get, a similar presentations with more detail from National Treasury themselves at 4. Thank you so much.
Yes, I fully agree with you, Member Nkondlo, that there's no point in engaging at this stage when we have the National Treasury presentation to come, and at that stage everybody can then raise the questions and gain the level of clarity that we need. Over to you, Honourable Swart.
Yeah, no, thank you, Honourable Chairperson. I do understand. I think, going forward, I think we need to next time see, as we did it the last time, but you said right at the beginning, it's because of, the availability to get everyone on board. I don't know whether there was any officials from National Treasury invited to this session. I think Dustin, as David has said, there was 1 or 2 of National Treasury in the meeting, but they left, I don't know. But I think going forward, but for members now, they receive all the presentations. I think everyone can, scrutinize all the presentations, prepare themselves for when National Treasury come and present. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. And I think, on that basis, then we will adjourn this meeting until 4 o'clock this afternoon, when we can then receive the National Treasury presentation and conduct the engagement that we need to undertake. So thank you, everyone, for being with us now. I think we've got a little bit over half an hour worth of a break before the next round of standing committee meetings commence. So thank you very much. We adjourn then till 4 o'clock.
Thank you, Chair.
And thank you very much, Honourable Swart, for being with us and doing that presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.